So there's a Hebrew word, avodah. Everybody say that word. Okay, so lots of different pronunciations of it. Doesn't matter. From which come both words. Now catch this. The word work and worship come from the same root, Hebrew word. Old Testament written in Hebrew. So to the Hebrew man, which Jesus was one of them, right? So to a guy in Jesus' day, which, by the way, what was his job? He was a carpenter, and he always said, I must be about my Father's... Oh, it was business, right. His Thursday morning routine activities, they were just as much an expression of worship as being in the synagogue on the Sabbath. There wasn't a separation between what his sacred duty was and his secular duty was. And I don't even know if they'd use the word duty. It was just this natural overflow of who they were, how God had gifted them, what He had put in them, and who they were designed to be. So nothing in Scripture dictates, this is, by the way, from Dan Miller, 48 Days to the Work You Love. So it's a business, finding your business identity dream type job book. Nothing in Scripture depicts the Christian life as divided into sacred and secular parts either. Okay? We created that. Rather, Scripture shows a unified life, one of wholeness, in which everything we do is of service to God, including your daily work, whatever that might choose to be. Whether that's your job, that's your kids, that's something, for goodness sake, that even supports your family. So, let's just be real about it. All right, so I'm not advocating little boys going and playing with Barbies. One day, I saw one of my kids walking through the house dragging one of his sister's dolls. So he holds the doll, and he picks the doll up, and he chunks the doll in the air. The doll comes back down. He chunks the doll again. This is one of the boys, like 6 years old at the time. Chunks the doll. And initially, I wanted to go, whoa, what are we doing? And again, I'm not advocating like boys go have Barbies, okay? It's not that. But here's what he had done. He had seen me like throwing them in the air, right? And so he's just mimicking what he's seen. Okay. There's no part of chunking kids in the air and holding kids and taking them around the house and putting them on your hip and that sort of thing that is not a sacred duty. Does that make sense? And as a guy, like, you might tend to think, well, going and bringing home the bacon, like, that's huge. Or leading family prayer time, that's massive. Or getting out and teaching them something, that's grandiose about business is amazing. But teaching them math or how to read or something, maybe not. Like, we tend to grade these things based on just grading skills that we made up that have nothing to do with anything. When all of these things are really not duties, they're really joys that just overflow and infuse all of your life. Does that make sense to you?